Egy csatorna, ahol bepillantást nyerhetsz az esküvők világába, a szervezéstől a levezénylésig. Az egyik legkedveltebb és legtapasztaltabb régi motorossal, akarom mondani esküvőszervező, ceremóniamester, szertartásvezetővel, Herendi Gáborral. Egy csatorna, ahol mindent megtudhatsz az esküvőkről, ötleteket meríthetsz és interjúkat hallgathatsz tapasztalt esküvői szolgáltatókkal, valamint bemutatjuk nektek a legújabb magyarországi esküvői helyszíneket is. Nézzetek bennünket a legjobb és legfrissebb esküvős tartalmakért. Mi veletek vagyunk, Esküvő TV Herendi Gáborral.
Együttműködő partner Visual Euro Production. Tökéletes képminőség, hangzás és látvány életetek legszebb napján.
Herendi Gábort a Kaniszi szabóság öltöztette.
Hello everyone and a very warm welcome to all of you at the brand new episode of our video podcast Wedding TV with Gábor Herendi from the wonderful industrial events. Our cooperation partner is Visual Euro Production and I'm Gábor Herendi, wedding planner. The title of today's episode is International Weddings in Hungary. So our guests are Teodora Simon, photographer, Dato Katamadze, videographer, filmmaker, and Zoltán Körösi, owner of the Event Trend Group. So welcome you all, thanks very much for coming. And as I mentioned, this episode is about international weddings in Hungary. But before we go into any details about that, I would like to kindly ask you to introduce yourself because you're very experienced in international weddings, but we want to know a little bit more about you. Ladies first, so Teo, would you like to start?
Yeah, thank you, and thank you, Gábor, for inviting us. So my brand is Teodora Simon Wedding Photography. I've been a wedding photographer for over 10 years and working on international weddings here in Hungary and also in abroad for about 6-7 years already. So I would say I'm specialized now on these international events. I have 2 daughters and I'm living actually not in Budapest but close to the Lake Balaton, if anybody knows. So yeah, and I really love my job and that's my passion.
Fantastic, thank you. Dato, would you say a few words?
My name is Dato Katamadze, therefore my brand name is Wedding Films by Dato Katamadze. I'm a videographer and I've been doing this over approximately 5 years now. Did quite a lot of international weddings, mix of Hungarian and international together.
You live in Hungary, you're not Hungarian.
Yeah, so I come from Georgia, Tbilisi, but I live in Hungary, but I travel all across the Europe now because of the weddings, so during the wedding season.
But you do international weddings here in Hungary as well?
Of course, yeah.
Excellent. Zoltán?
Thank you, Gabo, for the invitation. I'm representing the Event Trend Group, which is specialized in operating different event venues, should it be company or wedding venues as well. So we operate roughly 25 event venues in Budapest. That includes beautiful historical castles, landscapes, ships, restaurants, hotels. So when it comes to venues, I can help you.
Yes, and I have had weddings at few of your wedding venues. We will come back to that later. Okay, so the next question is, if somebody asks you guys, why Hungary, why Budapest? Let's stick to Budapest, okay? Why should I have my wedding in Budapest? What are you saying to them usually? Teo? Why do you think Budapest is a good venue for any international weddings?
I think, and when I talk to couples, and I also ask them the question why you picked Hungary, for example, in those cases when they don't have any origins or any relatives living here, but there are many couples who are just choosing Budapest because it's easy reach within Europe, so they can fly here like in 1.5 hours from all directions. And also international, like American couples, they really love to come here because they say that it's like a small Paris. It's much more affordable to come here to have and organize a wedding here. And that there are many unique venues, and the city is full of history. It's full of beautiful architecture, and they can really plan a really good wedding for an affordable price. I would say that this is the main reason.
Gentlemen, anything to
yeah,
add? Yes?
Yeah, I would add, of course, all of this I would repeat myself not to
Yes,
say
please.
the same. On top of this, I think there is a very good cultural difference in Europe that you cannot find it anywhere else, in my opinion, especially as a foreigner here. The language, the traditions and everything is not very similar to any other countries around. And of course the venues and the historical places, it's at an affordable price. It's a very good
So the
destination.
price-value ratio and the beautiful scenery. Anything to add, Zoltán?
I think there are still two main features. One is security and safety, which is nowadays a quite important value all over the world. And Hungary, and especially Budapest, is considered to be one of the safest capitals all over the world. Secondly, the majority of the Budapest landscape and the inner city has been built in the 18th and 19th century, which means that it's a kind of time travel when you just fly to Budapest and you realize that you are in the previous century. Of course, there are modern buildings as well and modern architecture as well, but the majority is a kind of time travel, which is heart melting.
Something to add from my side as a wedding planner or MC, whichever hat I'm wearing. Another feature is the service providers, the stuff in any direction. Photographers, video, DJ, band, food, chefs. Fantastic. I have attended weddings lots of places abroad, but when they come to Hungary and they, for example, I had a wedding last year, we were on the boat, on the Danube, and we went on the boat. It was fantastic music, fantastic food. The people, fully foreigners, no Hungarians whatsoever, they enjoyed themselves and I felt so proud. Actually, my patriot heart was beating when we were on the Danube and they were looking around and they were saying, Gábor, you see this every day? And I say, yes, it's been like this for 52 years. I don't want to go home. Well, then stay. So they really, I feel really proud when they are here. And as I said, the quality of service that they can get from every angle, from the service providers, I think it's really fantastic. Okay. Theo and Dato can show their pictures and videos to the couples who they have a request, an inquiry to come here and organize their weddings here. But what's happening on your end about venue-wise, food-wise? I mean, how do you demonstrate them what you can offer?
I think the venues you can easily check on Google and on photos as well, and of course on virtual tours. So it's not a problem, and all the technical surrounding is available even in our company group. But if you go to Google and you search for any venues, you can find hundreds of thousands or photos. Of course, food is different. Food is a kind of trust. Food is a kind of belief that, of course, I'm not saying it's one of the most important, but if the food is not proper enough, it may ruin the whole wedding itself. What we can say that Budapest is built on tourism and hospitality for decades, for centuries. So we are, in our heart, we are really warm welcomers of tourists and international guests, meaning that we really would like to pamper everybody. Normally the Hungarian cuisine, of course, it's not very widely known all over the world, but it's a good cuisine. So the majority of the guests who come to Hungary, they like it. But of course, we have a lot of international hotels, international venues, international food requirements. So we can cook. We have a lot of Indian restaurants, kosher restaurants, American restaurants. So wherever you come from, we can find a solution.
You can find your taste, if that's what you want.
Of course, tasting cannot be online. But anything else can be online.
Mm-hmm. You guys, how is the process when they are approaching you, that they are planning their wedding to be here? How do you build trust? They never seen you, they just see your web page. Everybody can prepare a nice web page.
Do you want to start?
Yeah. So the process is either a wedding planner finds me or the couple finds me through internet or Instagram. I think on Instagram I'm much more active. Of course, I have new galleries always and every season on my website. It shows a lot of personality already from myself, but on Instagram I can be fully myself. So usually when a couple comes to me and asks me for an offer, they already know that they want to work with me. I somehow feel that they have trust in my services. And when they find me, I send the offer. I also ask them a few details. So I want to know more about their wedding, if it's 1 day, 2 days, how many people, how many locations, also for me to know how many photographers needed, and so on. And then I offer Skype. I also have a 70-page bridal style guide that I'm sending them that gives already a trust from myself, because I'm putting there all the information that they need to know to have good photographs from the wedding. And yeah, they just write me back where they can sign, and yeah.
Yeah, on top of this, of course, the first thing what I discuss with the couple is, because from the filmmaking perspective, it's very, very important what they expect from me, because from pictures, and you can see the style of the pictures and everything more or less on Instagram, but for films, every film is a little bit different, because depending on the wedding and so on, how you edit it. So I really have to have a call before to understand the expectations, and I think the video call is what creates the trust between us. Of course, the similar way on Instagram, before they even contact me, I try to post myself as well, explaining some things sometimes, but yeah, mainly the video call is what we do.
As a wedding planner, we organized a wedding for a couple. They lived in Australia, Hungarian girl, Australian guy, and then we took the we took the phone and we went to. They wanted to have the wedding in Villine, so with Esther we went down to Villine, and with online check-in, we were okay. So this is one venue. How do you think you like it? Okay, we went to the other venue. How do you this one? Okay, we picked this one. They didn't even travel here. Usually we like if the couple at least once they are here physically in the country, visiting the venue, tasting the food, meeting at least to spend a long weekend or a week if they can. But with the development of technology, it can be avoidable. So there will be a Zoom, as you mentioned, with a Zoom or a Skype or a Teams call, you can build trust. Okay, let's go into more details about favorite venues. Maybe Zoltán, you can mention a few of your venues, and maybe we all have been there, and we can talk about stories, why it's a good venue beside your food and fantastic surroundings from a video or cinematography and photo perspective. So just please name a few.
If it
Tell the couples who are watching this that what treasures we have.
If it comes to venues, of course, it's about the feeling and the image we would like to experience. So, for example, the beautiful Danube comes through Budapest. You know, there's a hilly side, the Buda side, and the flatter side, the Pest side. We have a beautiful standing ship, which means it's a ship which cannot move. It's called Spoon the Boat, which is parked in front of the exact middle of Budapest, just by the chain bridge, which means that you have the most beautiful panorama all around the ship, 360 degrees.
Chain bridge, Buda Castle, Matthias Church, everything.
Everything else. So if you would like really to have beautiful photos and videos, that's one location what you can experience. Or there's another brand new venue, which is in the Kassel district. Kassel district is a beautiful historical district where the royal family used to live in the 18th and 19th century. A newly built, but of course a historical building, this royal stable,
turned into an event venue.
An event venue which has a 14-meter high ceiling that has a capacity of 300 guests, which is a beautiful, like a huge church, let's say so, which was part of the Royal Horse Academy. And there are such beautiful venues, even historical and modern ones. But for example, in Hungary, you have the world's most beautiful cafe, the Nyura Cafe, which is a touristic spot. Nearly 1 million tourists are visiting the Nyura Cafe in a year. So if you go to Instagram, you find hundreds.
It's very rich inside.
It's very rich inside. You know, all the gold, all the chandelier, everything else.
Fantastic.
It's once in a lifetime venue. So.
And what's the beauty in all these venues? They are all delivering different options for different requirements, because the historical castle is different than the New York Cafe. The Spoon is modern more, but still the scenery. I'm always telling, I love to go to Spoon because I'm always telling couples, you don't need to spend on decoration. The decoration is there for free.
That's it.
Especially when it's getting dark.
When the sun goes down,
when the sun goes down, the decoration is there for free. And sorry, Dato, and the gents' room in Spoon. Only ladies, you don't know that.
We don't know that.
You
I remember the
ladies also have
the ladies.
Okay, but they have to shut the door. But because I've been to the ladies, actually, gents can help themselves watching the beautiful scenery. Dato,
Yes.
Yeah,
your turn.
so for us as a photographer and a videographer, it's a blessing to be there at the, with the view. You don't really worry about the lighting and so on, because some venues, if they are not taking care, therefore there it's like you have the 360 view with all the lights and everything. So it's a blessing.
I think you love the castle area as well.
Yeah, the castle area, the more white, the better for me, because my style of photography consists on so much light and brightness. But yeah, all the outdoor venues or all beautiful castles inside, or I don't know if I can name the Festetics Palace, for example, or Fisherman's Bastion. It's
Please.
really, really beautiful locations. And also for the getting ready, all these historical buildings, so five-star hotels that are in a historical building like Corinthia or Four Seasons are beautiful places to getting ready, or just even stay for overnight there.
Yes,
Also,
please.
you have the option of Balaton, right? So it's not just Budapest, but
Yeah, we can
all
go
over
outside.
Hungary. Yeah. So it's also you have these vineyards and beautiful views there as well.
Okay.
On top of that in Hungary.
Let's talk about a little bit about the two of you. So you're a female photographer, you're a male videographer. So could you you have a husband who is also a photographer. Sometimes you are shooting together. So I'm just trying to talk about a little bit the female and the male perspective behind the camera. So what is different, you think, between, for example, you can talk from experience.
I can talk only from female experience, or I don't know if it's a female experience, but I myself, I consider a really sensitive person, if I can say this. So I really go for capturing emotions, capturing human connections. So my photography is more based on the human connections than really artistic, dramatic landscapes, for example. So usually those couples come to me who are having really a relaxed and fun atmosphere on their wedding, and they really want to get these emotions captured. So yeah, that's my style. I think that's more a feminine style, because maybe a little bit women are better with communication with brides. They are more close to the wedding, and yeah. But actually, my husband can also talk about wedding details and shoes and so on. But I think brides trust females a little bit more. So this is how this connection develops.
From my perspective, I think I always have to try, because my style is more documentary style. So I always have to try as a male to be really in the background and don't be loud and don't talk too much, because it can be distracting for catching those important moments. So yes, many times I have to tell myself to stop my male urges and be in the background.
Not to be noticed.
Yes,
not to be noticed.
Okay.
Yeah, this is an important part.
And we don't direct, and we also work a lot with Dato together, and we don't really like to direct. So only when it's needed for some group photos and so on. But other than that, we are really working from far and just capturing the senses.
Yeah.
Zoltán, you didn't mention one venue which is actually old and new at the same time, which is Gundel, which is well known around the whole world. Could you say a few words? Because I'm saying it's a new and old, because it's an old building, but there is some refreshment, but it's a little new touch.
Gundel is considered Hungary's most famous restaurant, and it's an event venue with a beautiful, huge inner garden next to the zoo and next to the city park. So it's a beautiful and charming landscape itself, and of course it's a very good event and wedding venue at the same time, should it be outside or inside. And of course it has been refurbished recently, redesigned, a little bit modernized, but still have this flair of the last century. It has a history of 125 years, so it's a kind of time travel.
And traditional food, yes? It's traditional Hungarian food that the guests can get here.
Of course, wedding is more tailor-made. So one thing what restaurant serves for normal guests, but wedding is more tailor-made, because we cannot dictate
you can go to any directions as well.
Yes, of course.
But as generally Gundelna as a restaurant,
yes.
it's the traditional direction.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this conversation, and we could carry on for hours, but unfortunately we have to finish. We are reaching the end of our time. The last couple of questions. So what are the cultures, nationalities that are approaching you from abroad? And the second, those couples who are watching this program, they are getting ready for their weddings. What do you recommend? What is your advice for if they want to have their wedding in Hungary, what should they think about?
Okay, I have many couples from overseas, like from American weddings. Many couples come from UK, from Nordic countries, or or even Italy, Spain. So my advice is, the first advice is to hire a good wedding planner. I don't suggest to anyone to start planning their wedding without a wedding planner, or at least with a good wedding coordinator. There can be really stories and that things go wrong, and that's the main thing. Advice from me.
I would tell exactly the same thing, because the planners know the team, and having the good team on the wedding day is the most important, I think.
Yeah.
So especially when you're doing a wedding in another country, I think you cannot go without a planner. This is the advice from me. Yeah, also many international couples from Europe, India.
Even India, I was going
India
400 people from India.
Big weddings.
I had a wedding from Brazil, 200 Brazilians. Oh, that's a funny story. Sorry, Zoltán, and then your turn. 5-6 years ago, the father of the bride was running on the treadmill in the Intercontinental Hotel. Okay. And was thinking, he was in a conference, I think, chocolate conference. He was looking, that's so beautiful. If my daughter is going to get married, it's going to be here. The daughter didn't have a boyfriend then, not even a... So the guy went home and said, my daughter, the wedding is going to be, okay, I don't mind, father, if you pay it, I don't mind. So then they turned up 5 years later, and 200 Brazilians, and they loved it. It was so fantastic. I was really, really proud that they came here. Zoltán, any advice or any cultures, nationalities that are approaching you from abroad?
Of course, we also have a lot of couples from France, from Italy, even from overseas, even from India, sometimes from Far East. And what they really appreciate that, of course, with the landscape and with the historical background, it's still a very good price-value ratio city. So at the end of the day, you can invite even more guests. So I'm not saying you can save money, but at the end of the day, in a European city, you can get a much more value for your money than in any other countries.
Fantastic. So I think that's a very good closing for this meeting. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Let's have lots of wonderful weddings together.
Yeah.
And let's have lots of international weddings here in Budapest and Hungary. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you
for
so much.
inviting.
Thank you.
That was all for today, but if you liked it, please follow us on Facebook, Instagram or TikTok, or on our YouTube channel. Thanks very much for watching. Goodbye.